Most men have been taught to believe that women feel butterflies when they're showered with flowers, expensive dinners, or long love notes tucked into their bags. And while those gestures can make her smile, they usually don't create that deep, involuntary reaction in her chest. Real butterflies don't come from what she expects. They don't come from routine, obvious attempts at romance. They come from moments she didn't see coming, moments that sneak past her logic and go straight to her body. It's the glance across a crowded room that holds just long enough to make her pulse quicken. It's the pause in the middle of a conversation where she suddenly realizes she's hanging on your silence. It's the subtle brush of contact that makes her wonder if it was even intentional. These are the kinds of experiences that force her mind to replay them over and over when you're not around. She won't always be able to explain why she's thinking of you, but she'll feel it just the same. And the beauty of it is that these moments are innocent. They don't require money, manipulation, or the sacrifice of your self-respect. They only require presence, timing, and restraint. Most men rush in with predictable patterns, constant validation, over-the-top attention, and endless attempts to prove they're worth it. But butterflies don't live in that space. They live in tension, in mystery, in the little gaps where she's left guessing. They're born in the seconds before something happens, not in the event itself. When her imagination is free to wander, she fills the blanks with her own excitement, her own curiosity, her own desire. And once you understand that truth, that butterflies come from subtle, authentic moments, you start to see how little it actually takes to leave a lasting impression. There are small but powerful shifts that create the kind of attraction most men overlook. Controlled attention is one of the strongest. It doesn't mean ignoring her completely, and it doesn't mean drowning her in non-stop validation. It's about knowing when to give her the full weight of your presence and when to pull it back. Imagine being at a party, not paying her much mind, then suddenly locking eyes with her across the room for a few seconds. No smirk, no exaggerated reaction, just a steady look that says, "I see you." Then you look away as if nothing happened. That single moment will echo in her chest longer than hours of conversation, because it's rare, deliberate, and impossible to dismiss. Another way is through micro-teasing. Too many men think attraction means impressing her, but the truth is the opposite. If she tells you she's good at something, you can smile and say, "Prove it, I don't believe you." If she's dressed up, you might calmly say, "So this is your attempt to impress me?" Not bad. The point isn't to insult or belittle, it's to playfully push back and show her you're not intimidated. Most men crumble in the presence of beauty, but when you don't, she feels it. Slowing down physical escalation works in the same way. Instead of rushing, you let the air between you become heavy with possibility. Standing close enough that she feels your warmth but not closing the gap immediately creates an anticipation that grips her. Her body becomes hyper-aware of every detail, the sound of your voice, the scent of your cologne, the rise and fall of her own breathing. That tension is where the butterflies begin. It's in those subtle, controlled moments that her desire starts to build without either of you forcing it. Silence is one of the most underrated tools in attraction. Most men feel pressure to keep a conversation alive, to fill every pause with chatter, jokes, or stories, as if silence will somehow make her lose interest. But silence, when used with confidence, does the opposite. Sitting across from her, locking eyes for a few seconds, then leaning back without saying a word forces her to feel the weight of the moment. Her mind will instantly start racing. She'll wonder what you're thinking, why you're so calm, and whether your silence means you're confident or uninterested. That uncertainty is magnetic, because it stirs emotions she can't easily explain. Pair that with light, unplanned touch and you've created another layer of subtle tension. It's not about being overt or forceful, it's about the accidental brush of your hand against hers when you reach for something, or the way your knee bumps into hers and lingers for half a second before you shift back. These moments slip under her defenses because they don't feel staged. Her body reacts before her mind can analyze, and the effect is powerful. Then there's the art of delayed gratification in conversation. You might start to tell a story, something intriguing, something that piques her curiosity, then stop yourself halfway through, distracted or choosing not to finish. That gap will sit with her. She'll replay it, wanting to know the rest, and the next time she sees you, she'll remember it. What all these things have in common is that they plant seeds in her mind. They create echoes she can't control, little flashes of emotion that return when you're not there. Silence, subtle touch, unfinished words, they're simple, but they carry weight. They don't demand her attention, they invite her to give it freely, which makes it 10 times more powerful. Compliments are powerful when they're rare, but most men drain them of all value by handing them out constantly. Telling a woman she's beautiful every time you see her may sound sweet, but eventually those words lose their impact. What truly captures her attention is when a compliment comes sparingly, deliberately, and with specificity. If you go days without saying anything, then suddenly drop a line like, "The way you wore your hair today makes you look dangerous." I like it, the effect is unforgettable. It doesn't just flatter her, it paints an image, it stirs curiosity, and it feels earned because she knows you don't say it lightly. That's the difference between noise and resonance. The same principle applies to breaking patterns. Most men, once they have her attention, settle into predictable habits, the same greetings, the same energy, the same routine. But if you suddenly switch things up, if you usually greet her playfully but one day your tone is calm, measured, and serious, it jolts her. She has to recalibrate her understanding of you, and that unpredictability makes her lean in more. Controlled withdrawal works in a similar way. After a stretch of engaging her fully, making her laugh, keeping her entertained, you suddenly ease back. Not ghosting, not ignoring, but pulling your energy away just enough for her to notice the absence. It's like pulling a blanket away on a cold night. The warmth you gave becomes sharper in her memory because now it's gone, and she'll want to reach for it again. Sharing small secrets carries the same weight. When you reveal something personal but not too heavy, in a way that feels unplanned, she feels chosen. The contrast between your usual strength and your selective vulnerability plants itself deeply. All of these contrasts, presence and absence, praise and silence, mystery and revelation, keep her uncertain, and that uncertainty is the fuel for desire. The mistake most men make when trying to create attraction is believing that more is always better. If one glance makes her heart race, they assume 20 will lock her in completely. But attraction doesn't work like that. Butterflies don't thrive in constant attention, they thrive in rhythm, in spacing, in the pauses between moments. Think about music, it's not just the notes that create the song, but also the silence between them. The same applies to attraction. If every interaction with you is predictable, if she knows exactly what you'll say or do, the tension dies. And when the tension dies, so do the butterflies. That's why perfect, stable, predictable relationships often lack passion. Perfect is safe, but perfect is boring. What she remembers are the men who could keep her on edge, the men who left just enough unsaid, who pulled back when things felt too certain, who gave her just enough to crave the next moment. Over time, those butterflies can grow into something deeper, but only if the balance is maintained. Give too much too soon, and the mystery evaporates. Withhold too much, and she drifts away. The art is in living in the middle, reliable enough to be trusted, but unpredictable enough to keep her guessing. That's the sweet spot where attraction lives. Women don't remember every word you say or every gesture you make, but they never forget the way you made them feel. If you master the ability to plant those small, innocent moments that echo in her mind when you're not there, you become unforgettable. She'll chase the memory of the butterflies you gave her long after the moment has passed. And that's the real secret, when you stop chasing her and instead become the source of the feeling she craves, she can't help but stay hooked.